Good morning, Eagles. My name is Alex Donka.
And my name is Gabriel Hidalgo, and this is your Granite Hills News Network.
Attention seniors. Prom is on May 22nd from 7 to 11 p.m. Tickets are on sale for $40 on the Granite Hills web store. Guest passes are available for all grades and other guests. Masks must be worn during the event. And now for your advisory feature.
My name is Sarah Derivanesian, and I'm one of the counselors here at Granite Hills. And I'm here with Susan Lusk, another one of our counselors. And today we're going to be talking a little bit more about mental health awareness. So last week we reached out to some staff and students to ask what mental health means to them. What does mental health awareness mean? So this week we want to focus a little bit more on how to take care of your mental health and how to take care of your general well-being. So back in November, we actually did a survey of students. We asked all of them how they take care of themselves. We heard back from about 260 students, and so today we kind of want to dive in and get a feel for how students on this campus might be taking care of themselves. So our first survey question that we're going to talk about today is, how do you manage your stress or other difficult feelings? So we have a bunch of different options, and the one that we saw the most is listening to music. So 74% of students said that that's a way that they deal with their stress. A couple of the other more common ones, there's looking at your phone. We also saw taking a nap. So less commonly, we saw that students were keeping busy or maybe doing something creative. What did you notice?
Well, the one at the very bottom of the least used is ignoring it, which I'm grateful that that has the lowest percentage, but at the same time, I wouldn't want anybody ignoring their mental health, because that's just not a good place to be. That doesn't feel healthy. So that does concern me, although I'm glad that it's low. And then the looking at your phone, that can be great. It's a nice distraction sometimes, you look at the reels and you just get going. But are we using that to avoid the reality? And then when we put the phone down, does it just give us more stress? Or are we looking at social media and then is it just creating more stress? So it can be good and it can be bad. And that's I don't know, it's different for every person. And then the taking a nap is a little the same way. Are you taking a nap and waking up refreshed and ready to conquer something? Or are you just taking a nap to avoid something and then when you wake up, it's still there? So, but I think regardless, just being aware of it and dealing with it and, taking that moment to think about it is a good step.
Absolutely. And I do like that there are some things on here that seem to be, really great ways to get some emotion out. Maybe they're students, it looks like, are listening to music. Maybe it's lyrics that they're relating to, or it's really matching the mood that they're feeling. So there are definitely lots of ways to kind of connect with the emotion in a healthy way and kind of move through it. So
Absolutely.
I love to see that our kids are doing that. So our next survey question is, how many hours of sleep do you get on an average night? So we had a couple different categories, and the most commonly picked one is 6 to 7 hours, and then the next most commonly is 8 to 10 hours. And actually the American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommends 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night, so it looks like about 40% of our students are kind of hitting that mark, which is great.
What's the one that's the least?
Yeah, so that is less than 4 hours.
That would concern me. If our kids aren't getting, if anybody's not getting 4 hours of sleep, maybe it's time to think about your sleep habits, your lifestyle, what you're doing. Maybe it's time to take a step back and think about that.
Yeah, and there are lots of different things that can kind of get in the way of good sleep. So it can be, if you're looking at your phone or other devices right before you, attempt to go to sleep, or even if you're leaving them on, or, and you're getting a bunch of notifications and things like that. But I think on the flip side of the coin, we do have, a set of students who are getting 10 or more hours of sleep a night, and I feel like that can be problematic too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we touched a little bit on that earlier, where, sometimes people can be sleeping to kind of avoid dealing with some of the things that are coming up for them.
Yeah, that would concern me. It's always that careful balance of managing your time and your mental health needs, taking care of yourself, taking care of your studies, taking care of your family. It's definitely a requirement that you have to evaluate sometimes.
Right, and it's definitely not easy to figure this out. What is working for me, what isn't working? And so that's a process, and we realize that, and we in the counseling office definitely would love to help talk with you about that. If you are kind of wondering if maybe you're falling into a category that maybe you're thinking maybe is less than ideal.
Yep, anything.
So our next survey question is, how many days a week do you do something active? And that can include lots of different things. So we listed off a couple here. It can be your PE class, it can be walking, hiking, maybe sports, either through school or not. It can be stretching, surfing, it can be YouTube videos that you're following along with. So the CDC recommends 60 minutes a day of exercise for students, and 46% of students say that they are getting exercise 5 to 7 days a week. So that's great. It looks like they're hitting that mark. And the slowest sliver of students says that they are never exercising. So it's good to see that at least the majority of our kids are getting active because it has so many benefits.
It has so many benefits. And if you're in that group that you're, the professional couch potato, that's something to really consider evaluating and working anything in. And it doesn't mean you go from nothing, it's not 0 to 60, any step in the right direction is going to be beneficial. Maybe you choose to just walk around the block once a day, but getting moving would be really important for that section that's never exercising.
And we get that it's hard, and sometimes it just feels like you're stuck in a rut, and you don't feel like you have that energy to get up and get going. And if you feel like chatting with someone about that, and maybe we can come up with some really personalized strategies to help you with it. I like to recommend to my students if they have a pet. Sometimes it can be putting a leash on the dog and just walking them
the door you go.
Right, and so something little, but starting small can be really helpful.
I think also calling a friend to help engage you and to kind of like be accountable to, especially somebody that's not any more motivated than you are, and you can both work to kind of help each other, because that always feels good.
Yeah, definitely a workout goes faster if someone else is doing it with you.
That's real life's company. We all want to be in it with our friends and do something together. So
that's right. So another survey question we asked was, who do you talk to about difficult things? Who kind of can be there to help you when you're feeling down? And the number one answer is friends. So we love to hear that.
Well, that makes sense. I know that even if I'm struggling with anything, the first thing I want to do is call somebody, and maybe I want to vent or bounce my ideas or troubles off of a listening ear. And so I think that's a great answer. And then not too far behind that is parent or guardian, and that's a great answer too. I think our friends have really good answers for us, but I think a variety of answers can help us find the best answer for ourselves.
Right, so maybe a parent is going to have a different perspective than a friend, and I think it can be helpful to get multiple perspectives if you're kind of going through something.
What are some of the other ones here? We have siblings, family members besides the parent or guardian,
teachers, coaches, and we do have a population of students here who identify as not feeling like they do reach out and talk to people. And
yeah, I saw that 21% say no one, that there's no one to talk to. So I would want our students to know that it takes a brave first step to come into the guidance office and talk to somebody that you might not know, but we are here to help and listen. And I think that that's important, that if you don't have somebody that you feel confident and comfortable talking to, come in. We'd be happy to listen.
Absolutely. And we will be talking next week a little bit more about the resources that are available here at Granite, but in the meantime, I do really want to second what Ms. Lusk said, that the counselors are there. We're happy to meet with you in whatever format you feel comfortable with, but just let us know, and we'd be happy to get to know you and hopefully be someone you would feel comfortable opening up to.
Yeah, and feel free. You can say as little or as much as you want. Our goal is not to make somebody talk to us. It's just to be available.
Right, absolutely, and it doesn't have to be about fixing problems. No. It can just be about sitting and sharing a space with you and being, a listening ear.
What do you do for your own mental health?
I constantly look at my optimistic goals and set my goals towards an ambition. So when I view that ambition, I know that at the end of the day, I'm going to overcome those obstacles. So that's what essentially pushes me through.
Very good.
What I do for that is I talk to my therapist, and I also talk to my friends and family, and I use singing as a way to outlet my emotions. And I also play water polo, which helps get a lot of emotions out because it's a group, it's like a team game, and you can talk to your teammates. And also, it's a lot of swimming, so it's a lot of like building up endurance, and it also just like correlates with how I cope.
My way of getting rid of the stress is, my biggest one is fishing. Deep sea fishing for tuna, yellowtail, dorado. Diving, we have a house in Keys. We dive down there for lobster and pole spear. Just being near the ocean and being around family, friends, and especially helps me out.
There's a few things that I would think about with reference to maybe taking care of my own mental health. One thing I think that's important is probably having a group of friends around, that'll listen to you and listen to you gripe, listen to your complaints. You can listen to theirs.
I take care of my mental health is kind of like by self-care, going to the gym, doing my nails, taking baths.
For me personally, taking care of my mental health really means like decompressing, de-stressing. So I read a lot. Reading is something that brings me a lot of peace and kind of chills me out.
I don't know how many people realize it, but there's this connection, this mind-body connection. And so taking care of my mental health really involves a lot of times with exercise. I ride my bike to work a couple days a week, and I love to do the sports I like to do, getting down to the beach. And these are times where not only do I exercise my body, but it also gives me a chance to get inside my head and think about how things are going and how I might improve things for my future.
I take care of my mental health by checking how my emotional state is and basically taking a step back, like reading, drawing, and listening to music, and basically getting out of a social situation or taking a break from a social situation.
So obviously what I do is sing every day because it releases endorphins and it's amazing and wonderful, and you should do it too.
To contribute to mental health, I would say finding a hobby that kind of relieves the stress of your everyday stress that you have or your grind, whether it's sports, drawing, music. Like personally, I like to race RC cars with my buddies. So just kind of finding a hobby with your friends that you can get out and you don't have to think about your day-to-day grind, and you can just enjoy the outside, enjoy the day, and enjoy something that doesn't cause high stress.
I think I have around 5 things I do to maintain my mental health. The first thing is that I have my check-in person. For me, it's my sister, and we make sure that we talk on the phone at least once a week. We don't say this is our mental health phone call, but we definitely need to talk to each other once a week, and then we're just much happier. We need that sounding board. So I have my check-in person. The second thing I like to do is I make sure I have daily outside time. Being outside just makes everything better. And every day there's a sunset and the sky turns beautiful colors, and it's good for my mental health to try to see the sunset as often as I can. A third thing I do is I join groups of like-minded people. For me, I love reading and writing, so I'm in a book club and I'm in a writing society. But whatever it is that you love, finding like-minded people and joining those groups can be really good. Even if you only meet once a month, and even if you only meet on Zoom, it can be helpful to find like-minded people. A fourth thing I do for my mental health is I read. If I need an escape from the life I'm living, I have a vacation in my hand if I have a book in my hand. And I can just take a break, join that other world for a while, and then when I come back to my real world, I feel so much better about the way things are going. And the last thing I do to take care of my mental health is if all of my resets aren't working and I realize I need extra help, I reach out for it, and I can seek professional help when I need it. Those are the 5 things I do.
And how I deal with it is I stay active in the community. I am a volunteer football and basketball coach. So I'm on the field and on the court daily, as well as daily exercise, and a good diet is what works for me.
Take care of my mental health by making sure that I'm taking care of myself. So just being able to hang out with my friends every once in a while and talk to people if I need help.
One way that you can help with mental health, one way that I take care of my mental health is speaking with others, finding somebody to talk to, eating right, making sure you're hydrated, being active, getting outside, really tapping into needing a break, anything that will make you feel better.
The way that I take care of my mental health is I practice self-care. So I write in a journal about how I'm feeling. I exercise, I drink lots of water, I get enough sleep. If I'm not doing those things, then I kind of like check myself and say, hey, you're not doing these things, and I get myself back on track. It's okay if you get off track with those things, but the whole goal is to catch yourself when you do and then get yourself back on track. So mental health awareness is very important, and we're all here together to support you. Teachers are here on campus to support our students and make sure that they feel mentally healthy and know that they are loved and cared about when they come to school.
What do I do to take care of my own mental health? I think you're going to hear a lot about exercise and balance and those kind of things, but the most important thing that I do, and I would encourage others to do too, is make deliberate choices to not be alone. Make sure that you've got a network, you find people you trust, and that you can be honest with, and never find yourself alone. And if I start to feel alone, and I do at times, I'm aware of that, and I will reach out to somebody again that I know and trust, and make sure that I'm connected. So no one needs to be alone, and certainly that's true at Granite Hills High School. There are people all around here, and certainly everybody should be able to find somebody that they trust and never have to go through this thing called life alone.
Attention all seniors. On June 1st from 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. you can pick up your cap and gowns at the quad outside of the library. Graduation will also be on June 8th at 8 a.m. at the stadium. There is also a mandatory rehearsal on June 7th at 12:45. Masks will be required for both.
I have a few announcements for you today. First, the library. Please make sure you are returning your library books as soon as you are finished with them. If they are late, I will waive the fines. Also, please make sure you are returning your Chromebooks for loaners at the end of the day. Any textbooks you do not need can be turned in whenever you want. Cheer. Do you want to be on our cheer team next year? If so, please follow us on Instagram at GraniteHills_cheer. I do all of the updates about tryouts there. Tryouts will be the first week of June. Finally, Eagle Link. If you are a current sophomore or junior and want to be an Eagle Link leader for next year, please join my Google Classroom by adding the code lowercase RRQZSQG. It should be right there. Thanks, Eagles. Have a great day.
This has been your Granite Hills News Network.
If you don't take risks, you can't create a future. Monkey D. Luffy. Thanks for watching, Eagles.